Hello, hello, everyone. I hope we are live. I think we are live now. Hi, Robert.
Hi, Natalie. How are you?
I'm fine, and you? Just,
Very good.
just checking that everything's fine. If you are live on LinkedIn or on YouTube, maybe you can let us know that it's working. But I think we can start.
Let's
Finally,
do it.
the technique is with us, so you never know before it starts if it's going to work or not. But I'm extremely happy to be with you today. How things on your side?
Yes, good. Super excited to be here, and thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So, welcome to everyone. If you're live on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or wherever you are, it's great to be back on the Fabulive event on LinkedIn. Today, I have the pleasure to welcome Robert Meyer. And I see that we are live because we have Antoine who just checked in, so everything's working out. So, what I would suggest, Robert, is it's all about you today and how you can give your tips and advices on how to perform in a corporate life as an athlete. First of all, I would like to congratulate you on this amazing season for Geneva. I think it's been an exciting time for you as well. So maybe you can talk about that a bit later, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay, well, I'll start off. So, my name is Robert Meyer. My profession is a professional ice hockey goalie, and I was born in the Czech Republic. Both of my parents are Czech, and I moved to Switzerland when I was 4 years old. I grew up here and started playing ice hockey in Coire, I guess in Cour in the Grison, when we already have probably a big audience here in Geneva or in Lausanne. And that's my job at the moment, and it's a very, very exciting job.
Thank you for that. And we had some question from the public from LinkedIn, so maybe I will ask them to you later. If people want to ask question, maybe they could put in the chat, and we'll try to answer as much as possible. Thank you, and good morning to Alexandre, who is Alexandre Robert Tagan for excuse me, who is here with us today. Um, tell us a little bit about your childhood. I mean, were your parents sporty guys, or how did you jump into this world?
Yes. Both of my parents were pretty sporty. My mom was an aerobic instructor. When I was little, I think she was third in the Miss Aerobics in Czech Republic.
Oh,
My
wow.
father was a orienteering runner, I guess, in the woods. And I guess I definitely got the right genes when I was born. So that was amazing. And once, like I said before, when I was 4 years old, I moved to Switzerland. Um, and my older brother, who's 3 years older, he started playing ice hockey, and I just wanted to go with him, and that kind of sparked my passion for ice hockey. So that's kind of how everything started, and I guess I never looked back from there.
Did you know at some point that you were going to be a professional hockey player?
Yes, when I was 13, I moved to Cloton just for ice hockey, which is in Zurich. Everybody knows the airport is in Cloton, and you know, I knew at that time that my passion was so big for the sport, and I really wanted to put all my energy into it. And then when I was 15, I signed my first contract with the team, where I knew that if I get to play at some point, I'll even make some money out of it. And this kind of sparked my
Was it
my
was it the money or just
no, no, no. Of course, not the money, but it was like it's like the first stepping stone when you're able to you kind of realize this could be my job.
Mhm.
And when I was 17, I had my first game with the men's team in the same league that I'm playing now.
Mhm.
So yeah, at that time, I knew that I'm gonna pursue that dream and go all in on this career.
And how did you cope as a young man? You said 17, right? When you were starting, with
Professionally, yes.
yeah, going out with your friends, your love life. How did you cope? How did you manage all that?
Yeah, I mean, this was a sacrifice. Obviously, I think most of my friends, I was lucky that most of my friends then came from hockey and had a big passion, the same passion that I had. And, on the weekends we were gone. We had no time. So now when I look back, to a lot of people, was a big sacrifice. For us, we were just loving. We just had so much passion for the sport. And, then at 17 or later at 17, I moved to Canada to go play ice hockey. In Canada, ice hockey is completely different. It's already professional pretty much for junior athletes. So I decided to move to Canada and learn English and learn a new culture. And meet a lot of different people that have that passion for that sport. So that was pretty cool.
And your parents were always behind you to support you in terms of your career, or were they asking you to do different things?
Not really. I think my mom, she understood early that she cannot control me in that way.
Mm-hmm.
That I will just go off my own and I will pursue this. Somehow I had a huge drive for it,
Mm-hmm.
and there was nothing going to be standing in my way. I wasn't letting that. And I think what I've seen with Swiss players, their parents have a little bit more control over them. I don't think I gave my parents much of a choice, so I just said, "Hey, I'm leaving," and it's hard for me. Yeah, I just didn't give them a chance for me to say no. And if they would have said no, I don't know what I would have done, but I probably still would have went.
But you were very strong-headed at that time as well.
Yes,
Mhm.
because I knew this is my path, and
Mhm.
I took that path, and I took a lot of risks, but I think in the end it paid off for me. And you never know when you take risks, but for me it was clear, and I just dove into it.
And tell us now about this season. I mean, it's been crazy. So we had a lot of emotions. If we are following the team and you, and maybe you can share a little bit about how you felt during this season.
Yeah, I mean, so many emotions. You go through a season. There's so many emotions, so many ups, so many downs. I think so many things happening in the locker room. So many, in the end, we're all human in there, and we all have our lives outside of hockey. And so there's a lot of things that you need to cope with. And in that time, I think I had already great feeling in the preseason when the team we got together. We went away for 2 days, and you could just feel there was a different feeling to everything. The way that the team was gelling together, the way that everybody was coming together in such a nice way, and the empathy that we had in our team, the drive. Everybody knew what we were there for, so we had a clear goal. The coaching staff was amazing with us. Kept us always grounded, even when we were winning a lot during the season. So yeah, for us that was a pretty much a perfect season, and we're happy we were able to do it and to win it. And that whole journey of that whole season was just something special, and something that everybody learned so much, and it's always going to stay with us, that's for sure.
My son Charlotte, of he asked me a question just before we started. I said, "Well, do you want to ask something to Robert when I'm live?" And he said, "Why did you leave Geneva and why did you come back?"
Yes. Why I left Geneva? Well, that was at that time there was, I think, just a management change.
Hmm.
And I felt a little comfortable. I felt almost too comfortable, and I thought I needed to go see something different, see a different organization, and yeah, try something new. And I wasn't sure at that moment where the organization was going, and obviously there was contract negotiations that didn't go as planned, and then I decided to go to Davos, which I pretty early saw that this is not what I've expected it to be. But it was, again, it was for me that it was a great experience, and kind of really got me out of the comfort zone, and I really had to battle again, and try to find different ways to get back to success.
Mhm.
And I think that's, now when I look at it today, I can say it was the right move. It was the best move for me, and not in the moment, not for 2 years. It was very, very difficult for me and my family. um,
To move, you mean to move to Davos and change environment? And I think
Change
it
environments,
was
yes,
during COVID, right? I mean, difficult time. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, there's so many different things that just didn't work out, and it was the wrong time. You could say it was the wrong time, but for me now, and I accepted it really quickly, and I said, okay, it was the way it is, and giving up is not an option. And I always believed in my skill. I always tried to. You know to not get too low on myself, and not get too hard. Obviously there was a lot of moments where you get hard on yourself, and but you just keep believing in it. And yeah, in the end, I was, there's always opportunities, and I knew that there's going to be a big opportunity that I'm going to take. And decided then that, with how the organization has developed in those 2 years as well, I saw it's everything was new. And the bit the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation behind it, with Didier Fischer, and with the three board members that we have, it just looked really good. And I've talked to a lot of guys. I still knew most of the players. I knew my teammates, and yeah, in the end, it was the right thing, and I'm super happy that I got another chance at this in Geneva.
You came back home.
Exactly, exactly. It's for me, just talking about Geneva has already given me goosebumps, because it is my home. It's where I can really blossom.
I have a question. Sometimes you see my eyes going like that because I
Mhm.
check the message, and we have one message saying, "How did you choose?" From Federico. How did you choose to be goalkeeper? Which is a good question. You could
Mm.
be any player in the team. Why goalkeeper?
When I was little, I came to the hockey rink in Coire, and my mom had to drop me off because she had to give a class as an aerobic instructor. And there was the first team that was taking a team picture, and the goalie from the team said I should come down on the ice. And I was just watching them, and obviously I was looking up to all of those players, and the goalie just took me on his knees, and I was on the team picture of the team, which was in the second highest league at that time. But from that on, I just, that changed my life, because I fell in love with the goalies. And then, I just wanted to be goalie, and that kind of transformed, I guess, a little bit of my personality and everything. So yeah, in the end, that was kind of the trigger and the ignition for me to choose that path.
So, what do you think make a great goalie? What qualities do we need to have to be a great goalie, for example?
I mean, I can speak about myself. I think everybody has different qualities. Everybody is different. To me, I think what you need to have a leveled head. You need to be very connected uh, emotionally, mentally, with your body. You really need to feel everything. I think generally in sports, I don't think there's many differences from any kind of other sport. You just have to have the passion, and you have to have the drive, and you need to be patient. There's a lot of things that are important for it. Yeah, but you develop these skills, and
We'll come back later because I have so many questions during the game. What's happening in your mind? But if we come back to this season and the past season, how did you manage to overcome the challenging times? I mean, what how did you manage, mentally and physically to overcome all that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of ups and downs. If I would tell you everything was easy and it was, it wasn't struggle. There's a lot of struggle. There's a lot of self doubt.
Hmm.
You have you have a lot of emotions going through your head. You have a lot of sleepless nights, and you kind of, if you're in the position that I was, there was, you have a family you need to take care of. You have you have so many different things you need to do, and for me, the most important thing was, I guess, just to move forward. Just to kind of be in the moment, try to just control the things that you can control,
Hmm.
um, and believe in yourself. Never lose that belief, because obviously I knew I can play ice hockey. I knew that there's and you have to think. You have to find different ways, new ways all the time. What worked for you last year might not work for you the next year. So you're always trying to find what is working and what is not working, and then if you really believe that something is working, you need to apply it, and you just need to believe that this is the right thing to do.
Never ever have you any doubt about this profession, or said, okay, I want to stop, I want to do something different?
Of course, all the time. I think that there's always, you always have doubts. You always
Mhm.
have self-doubt. Even for me, I mean, everybody's not getting any younger, and in sports, you only have a certain amount of time. You do not have, because at some point physically you will not be, when you're 40 years old, you will not be able to do the same things that 20-year-olds do.
Yeah.
But then you have a lot of experience where you can just adjust different things and use more your experience.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, there's definitely a time limit on your career. So I'm always thinking, what else can I do after? And that is, I think that's super important, and keeps you going a little bit too. Keeps you, you always have to look forward to something.
No, exactly. And what's happening in your mind when you play a game? I mean, when it's slow, when it's fast, because you have a special position as goalie, and once the game is on the other side, how do you keep focus on the game?
So during the game, when the game is developing, when the game is in the other zone, when the other goalie is playing, you just need to read what is happening in front of you. What is happening? Where are the other players positioned? What could happen? You need to anticipate, and then you need to read what is going to happen, and then you need to react. So I think in a goaltending position, the most important is as well the patience. How long can you wait until somebody makes a move? And when he releases the puck, you need to catch the puck. So
Mhm.
if you just cheat a little bit as a goalie, when you're thinking, oh, he's gonna go there, and he waits a little longer. So it's a waiting game. It's maybe sometimes like a little negotiation or something. It's a waiting game, seeing where which what reaction you have to make. And this just comes so much with experience, with time, and especially during the season. Sometimes you have bad moments, and it's like this that you can lose that skill. Like
Mhm.
all of a sudden, when you're not feeling good, your patience, your focus just gets like blinders, like a horse, and you just, your brain is just not functioning the right way. But if you're really relaxed and you're completely confident, your vision just gets easier, and everything happens much slower. So
Mhm.
you want to slow everything down in your mind, and that only works when you don't think about anything. If
Mm.
you start thinking, oh, maybe this, maybe that, that's when your whole game is
And you're
gonna,
100% into the game, huh? Yeah.
when you're 100% in the moment, when you're really mentally, psychologically connected with your body, that's when magic happens.
And we talked about that when we've met, and we discussed a lot about this. But when you do the little tour around the cage, that thing that's your specialty, and we all like crazy because we think, oh, nobody's in front of the gate. So tell us a little bit about that. Is that something that's distract you or help you to be back in the game, or what? How do you manage that?
No, I think I always wanted to have something. I guess since I'm little, I've heard something that always stood with me. It's like, do something that makes you extraordinary, or do something that is special from other people. So I've always liked to be a player as well, and that's a skill that I developed with time. And obviously, for somebody that understands hockey, understands the rule, but never really played at a high level, it's hard to understand how much this helps the team when the goaltender can play the puck like a defenseman. Or I want my defenseman to have the same confidence in me when I'm behind the net as they would with another player.
Mm-hmm.
So and then this develops, but again, this is kind of a risky play, people would think, but it's calculated risk.
You,
And
you,
you're
yeah.
100%, if you 100% believe that this is something that you're great at or really good at, then it's not a risk anymore. It's really just a part of your game. And
You manage that. Yeah.
exactly, you always have to manage it.
Mhm.
And obviously, when you start making mistakes, when I started making mistakes, a lot of mistakes, when it happened more often, that means, hey, I'm not 100% here, so
Yeah.
that's, you kind of like, okay, maybe now I start focusing on different things. But yeah, this is something that is unique, and that is 100% me, and I will never change that because I'm very good at it.
So I'll be more confident next season to see you dancing around the.
I hope so. I hope this will help some people to understand it a little bit better.
Cool. So what's for you your greatest accomplishment as a hockey player, as a goalie so far?
So far, I mean, I think I will have to say, the championship that we won this year in Geneva, because um, there was such everybody was saying on the Welsh teams can never win. Geneva has never won the championship in almost 120 years. Um, and and to be able to break a cycle like this, to really show the people, hey, like
You can do it. Yeah.
we
It's,
can do it, and it's not about where the players come from, where the city is. And yeah, we just wanted to show everybody. And this is definitely a big accomplishment as well. I've been at 4 world championships. I've these are big accomplishments. I've played in Canada. I signed a contract with the Montreal Canadiens. These are big accomplishments for me, that today I might not completely see it, but definitely when I stop playing in my career, I will see those accomplishments and say, yeah, this was great. But I'm hoping, or I'm sure, there will be more accomplishments made in the next couple of years.
and how important are the support of your fan? I mean, it was I think they were phenomenal this year. I think.
And they were unbelievable. And I think, the last game 7, the first 10 minutes, the electricity in that in Le Verne was something. Yeah, I could even say that this is just one of the biggest accomplishments, because as athletes, we play with people's emotions. This is our job. We play with their emotions, and we are performers, and we need to show them something. And just, I think this just carried us through that game, the first 10 minutes, and we were up 2-0, and we knew we're not going to lose that game anymore. But the fans, this was, I've never experienced anything like it, and it was the first time that I've experienced it in my life
Hmm.
like this. And I hope I will experience it again. but the first time was definitely the most memorable one. And
What adrenaline? It gives you drive. What it gives you personally?
you realize through that this is a special moment
Hmm.
when you feel that electricity. It's really unexplainable.
Hmm.
uh, I'm sure there's somebody who can explain it in a broader way, in a way that I cannot. I can only tell you about my experience emotionally that I had during that time, and that was something that you could just feel the buzz, and you could feel just those people who they wanted it, and they made us want it too. And then you forget all your tiredness, all the pressure was gone, and we could just go out there and do our job. And this was something so special, that for that's what sports is all about, you
Yeah.
know.
It gives me goosebumps because I can feel your passion, and I watch. I didn't have the chance to come to the last game, but I was there, for some of them, and it's just amazing. And thank you for giving that to us because it's so powerful. And it's you who made me discover hockey
Yeah.
because I didn't. I mean, I knew hockey, but I never been to a game, and it's just great. We have a very interesting question. I can't see the name, but saying that it's someone who has a 10 years old son who is a hockey and goalie and role model. It's you. I don't know if you see the message.
Yes.
He wants to do that professionally. So what could he do after that? Is time limited? And I think we're going to talk about that. Um, can you still work around hockey, or should you study to get a plan B? What's your opinion on that?
Well, okay. I think there's a lot of ways to look at this. You have, for me personally, the way I am as a person, for me, it was one way. And I was like, I'm going 100% in hockey because that is completely my passion, um, which my parents allowed me to do that. And, for me, I was bored at school. School was boring to me because I think I understood early in my life that, um, one of my best friends always told me, school won't teach you, your life will teach you.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the University of Life. So, just the people that I've met through ice hockey, and but it's a very big risk.
Hmm.
Okay, you really have to have 100% of that passion. Um, but obviously plan B is the safest way. It's probably the way that everybody will tell you is the right way. For me, it wasn't, and I've realized that. But again, it completely depends on, especially the parents, to feel their kids. Okay, how do they work, and I think, for me, I always thought, I can always do that later,
Hmm.
whenever I need to. So it's a very hard question to answer for me, because everybody is different, and I would really have to see that 10-year-old kid, and kind of see how big the passion is for it, and if he only really wants to do that, or if there's other passions. So just you know
But
keep giving
it's
him
safe.
the
It's
opportunity.
safe. It's safe to say that it's always good to have a plan B, right?
It's always, of course. I mean, if the child wants to do a plan B, do the plan B. Always have a plan B. Have a plan C. Um, yeah, that's definitely. I'm not gonna say just go on hockey, because when you statistically, not a lot of kids become professional in that. Especially
Mhm.
if you're a goalie, there's only 2 spots per team. In
Yes,
Switzerland,
that's
in
true.
Switzerland, we have 14 teams, so there's 28 spots, and there's a lot of luck involved too. You need a lot of luck. You need to be in the right. You need to put yourself in the right positions, and it's a very hard question to answer in that way, but it's good.
So, for people who just joined, welcome. We are live with the amazing Robert Meyer, and we're talking about his career as a goalie, hockey player. And we are going to answer about how we can transfer some skills that you've developed as an athlete to the corporate world in a minute. We're going to talk about the financial aspect of it. I think it's important if you're parents to, or if you're young professional, you want to know how you can live with this passion. But a more personal question: how do you balance between your work life and your family? I mean, your career and your family. How do you balance that?
It's pretty good. I mean, when you become professional, your working hours are usually from the morning until 12 o'clock. Then you have usually the day off, and unless obviously there is a game, so you don't really have weekends. So there's a lot of sacrifices that your family needs to do, like not having weekends, not really having vacations during the year. You have about 3 months where you have about, say, six weeks in total that you have vacation. But then there's so many different aspects that come to it. But to balance it, you have to develop somewhat of a routine in your life, especially when, let's say, your spouse is working, your kids are going to school. So just to be able to really be present at home, you need to rest a lot. It's uh it's it's not always easy, especially coming into the playoffs,
Mm-hmm,
because you're mentally pretty much shut off at home, and it's really, really important that the family dynamics are good at home.
mm-hmm,
That helps it way more, because my wife let me be shut off for 3 months. She wasn't very happy about it, but she accepted it and she understands it's a very, very emotional job. You have to
mm-hmm,
be 100% committed, and for about 2 months you're playing every second day. So it's play, recovery, play, recovery, play, recovery. And um, and the family has to pick up a lot of your slack. So,
mm-hmm,
and then after the season, there's a change. So it's not always easy, because all of a sudden you don't have the pressure anymore, but you have to prepare yourself for the next season. And there's a lot of things that, with, I think, the older you get, the more experience you have. And it's very, very important, I think, like everywhere, that you have great family dynamics at home.
mm-hmm. And support, I guess.
And support. You 100% needs extra support.
Mhm. And tell us a little bit about the dynamic of the team, because I think that's quite important in your sport.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I think every time there's I think during the playoffs, you can read a lot is, oh, our team is it's perfect, it works perfectly. I can only say, for our team, it's so important. The coaches, they need to know how the dynamic works, the leaders on the team. It's important to have, you know and every and once the team understands that every single guy is equal and is a leader,
Mm-hmm,
maybe not on the ice where they play the same amount or have the same responsibilities, in the locker room, whenever we're together more than we are with our families. You have to think about it. So we become a family. We are, we're brothers. We're always together. We do everything together. So,
mm-hmm.
and it's so important that you just need to give everybody the space to be themselves,
Yeah.
because if you don't give everybody the space to be themselves, they cannot express themselves, and they cannot perform at their best, because they're holding back somewhere. They're not you know they're not um, they might feel judged. The young players might not have the confidence, because they see older players that they might have looked up to before, or they've achieved so much. So it's really important that you make everybody feel like they're special, and everybody feel like they can be creative in a lot of ways. And I think that's something that is really important. It's a really hard job to do for the coaching staff, because they need to completely trust the leaders in the locker room, and the coaches need to find ways for the players to be able to gel and give them different. One guy might need a lot of freedom, one guy needs to be hold back a little tighter. So there's a lot of you really need to, yeah, for me it's always I'm observing, and I try just to be myself, which is try to be empathetic with everybody and treat everybody the same.
So you're sharing the position as goalie with someone else, right?
That's right.
Okay. And how did you choose who plays when? I mean, how does it work?
You mean the coaches, how they choose who's playing?
I say
It's
coach.
yeah, it's the coaches who choose who's playing. So that's a little bit, sometimes that can be hard, especially
Mhm.
we're all a team, but in the end we're our own business. We're all
Yes.
competitors.
Yes.
We all want to
Mhm.
play. We all want to have ice time and show. uh, we, because you're training the whole week, and then you might have 2 or 3 games in the week. If you're just training and you're not playing, it's like you're preparing. You're the sous chef the whole time. You're preparing, but you even make the food, but you cannot eat it, and then you cannot enjoy it. So
Mhm.
that is very hard. But in the end, there's only one guy that can play, and yeah, you need to be 100% focused every training session, and you need to show the coaches that you're the guy that needs to play.
Mhm. Is there someone who inspired you, coming from the sport industry or somewhere else? I mean, is there a figure like you look at in your life?
Yes, I mean, there's always new people that inspire me. I watch a lot of or I read biographies of athletes, and you just try to pick out little things from everybody.
Mhm.
If you try to copy everybody exactly the same, probably not going to work for you. So you need to
Mhm.
you need to see and try. You need to try. You need to fail and adjust. So that's always something that I think that when you look at it, could work in the corporate world, to always be adjusting and doing those things. I mean, for me, it's hard to say exactly what could work in the corporate world, because I've never had the experience, which I would love to get the experience to see how this works. Uh, but from my point of view, I think you can apply a lot of those things as well in life, and
Mhm.
in the corporate world or in sports.
So, what are your values? If you talk about, what drives you as a value?
Well, there's a lot of things. Obviously, there's you want to have a good life. So obviously, money is a big part of it. That I think it shows as well the good work that you're doing. I guess the more somebody wants to pay for the product that you're doing, the more that means that you're actually doing something right. But as well, I think there's for me to play sports, it helps me. It teaches me so much, and my values are always, I want to take people with me. So be empathetic with people, be open with people, talk to them, and make people feel safe around me. And yeah, that's kind of like what I like to do, and kind of my values.
Great. I see that Daniel just said that you have a nice shirt, and and how important was life, your family during the difficult period in Davos and becoming a champion.
Oh, so much, that they always pick you back up. Especially, I think when I moved to Davos, a month later, my son was born, Gabriel. And I think everybody knows that my wife became a first time mother, and the difficulties there are in the first 6 months, with children. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful moments, but it's as well your whole life is changing. And it wasn't just that life change. There was as well the change of living on a mountain with
Mhm.
nothing around during COVID, with everything closed. So you kind of feel very. I started feeling very claustrophobic,
Mhm.
and that came over to my game and everything. But my wife was so important during that time as well, because she kept picking me up, and it wasn't just
Mhm.
she kept picking me up, but she as well demanded a lot from me. She kept demanding from me. It wasn't like, okay, just feel bad, it's okay, at some point you need to get out of it and you need to make a change. So
Mhm.
when you're in a downward spiral, you just need to hold on somewhere and say, okay, now I want to make a change. And yeah, so that was
Work
kind
as a
of
team, I guess, huh? When you're a couple as well, to decide what's the best for you and your family. So
100%. And as well, again, the empathy and everything, the openness, talking about your feelings, talking about what really 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 bothers you.
mhm.
um, that's so important. The communication is I think is the key to resolve problems. And just communicate it, even
Mhm.
when it's not always the easiest thing to do. And yeah, just be and completely trust each other. Trust. And it's another thing that is important. And she needed to trust me for my decisions that I've made after, to be able to make the changes that I was able to do. And it's not easy, but time heals. And I'm happy I am back in Geneva.
Good. We talked about, there is a question about emotional intelligence, and I guess as a goalie, something really really special, because you have to assess, your team, the other team. I mean, the people playing with you, etc. So, do you think that could be transferred to the corporate world?
Yeah, I think if you have emotional intelligence, that is a big skill that you have. That's something that I think I as well developed. Really, really having that emotional intelligence to understand myself and understanding my surroundings, what is happening around me. And yeah, that is a, I think that could be a big help in any in the corporate world in that way. So that's the thing for me. It's always, I can say a lot of things that I've experienced. It's been in an athlete's world, and I have not had those experiences in the corporate world. So I don't want to say things and tell people this could work for sure. But I think everybody needs to, if they're listening to it, they can evaluate themselves if something could help them or not.
So we have a question, and I was going to ask you as well. Do you have any strategies or techniques that you employ to cultivate resilience and mental thoughtness um, during the game, or when it's time is difficult?
Yes, very good question. So during games, if let's say you let in a bad goal that puts so much, you already have a lot of pressure, and all of a sudden you're making a mistake. And if you're the last guy, if you're the goalie and you make a mistake, everybody can see it. So for goalies, you see a lot of young goalies that right away, oh my god, they start tightening up, and they say they start feeling sorry for themselves. And they because I had it so many times. That happened to me all the time when I was younger, and even now, it still happens sometimes, that you make a mistake and you get in shock. But things are moving forward. Like right away, there's waves coming down at you again. You cannot let in another one. So you start thinking, oh my God, like I'm gonna. So the most important thing is just to quickly, during that time, assess, understand the problem, understand the mistake that you made. And this needs to happen like this needs to
Yeah, it's
happen
very
in 10
quick. Huh?
seconds.
It's
you
very
need to you need to you need to assess it, and then you need to put it aside, or have something in your head. So for me, for example, what I can share, what I've developed is, when things are going good and I get overconfident in a game, that is my ego. I always call it, that's if you have a computer, that's my ego. Okay, now you're getting arrogant. You think you're too good, and all of a sudden, honestly, it happens right away. You let it go.
Really?
It's you make a
Okay.
mistake because then you
Mhm.
start thinking. So you just say, okay, it's my ego. Good. It's
Okay.
my ego.
Mhm.
Forget about it. Be centered. Think about what's going to happen again, or let's be in the moment. If I let in a bad goal and I make a big mistake and I start thinking, oh my god, I should have done this, people are gonna think, oh, in the media this and that, they're gonna crucify me, this and that, because there's so many pressures. You start thinking about it. So I say, okay, you know what, this is my head thinking. This is now you're using your brain, you're using your head, you're overthinking things. So you have those two um, um, folders like on a computer. So you just put it in there, and you say, okay, this happened, put it in there. Oh, I'm feeling too confident. Oh, it's my ego. Okay, get back. And then I tell
Mhm.
myself, just play with your heart, just
Mhm.
because really be
Mhm.
in the moment, play with your heart, don't think anything. And this is kind of like that, I've learned through all my mistakes and everything to kind of, deal with that mental with the psychological issues that you have during games. And it goes so fast, you need to really be able to put it away somewhere. And then after the game, usually I have a hard time giving interviews because my brain is just, it's like it's dead. It's like it's just not thinking, and I don't even know what happened. Until then, for me, I need to rewatch the game and see what happened, just to see, okay, this had happened, this is how I felt, this is what came up, and now I see it. Okay, you see, now you see it from a different way, and you can really look at it on the computer and say, okay, this wasn't that bad as how you thought it was. So, and then you evaluate your game, and then you go into the next game again and do the same thing.
So you reassess every time that you've done something, and then you learn from it, right? I
Exactly,
mean,
exactly.
yeah.
So it's always, make mistakes, assess them, and the
Yeah.
only problem is in sports, your career is not that long, and you have to do things quickly.
I was going to ask you, how old are you, Robert? Can you tell us that? I shouldn't ask you that, but I can,
Of
right?
course, yeah, I'm 33 years old. I've
Okay.
almost 34 in October. So, but it's an age.
So how long can you play? I mean, what's the oldest hockey player in the world? Do you know?
Oh my God, it's Jaromir Jagr probably is playing at 52, but he's the second highest scorer in all history in NHL. But this is a different specimen. This is, to play. He doesn't play at the highest level anymore. But I think to play at the highest level, I think I believe, and I think I can do this for another 5 years.
Do you feel in your body that you not you're still young, but do you see some changing from when you started at 17 years old?
Yes, 100%, because your body doesn't recover as quickly anymore. And this is something that I am very interested in as well, is my how my body feels.
Mhm.
It's everything. So I've been very fortunate with injuries, and okay, let me rephrase this. People say I'm very fortunate. I don't think I'm fortunate. I think that I'm just, I try
You
to
what?
find different ways and I work on it. Nutrition is so important to have. Uh, Recovery is the most important. You just need to sleep the right way. So I do a lot of things where I track my sleep, I track my nutrition, I track my recovery, HRV, all different kinds of things. So you become a specialist in that. This is my business. So I try to, there's so many different things you need to involve, and you just, first you have to have a basic understanding of something, and then you can go deeper in things once you have the basic understanding. So, and you need to do it quickly. So I'm 33, and I think I have that really in the sweet spot where I want to have it, but there's always more learning, because every year your body changes, and every year you need to readjust things, you need to do different trainings, you need to do different things. So that is the challenge of an athlete, and I would imagine in the corporate world it would be the same.
And if we talk now about finance, because I'm sure the people who listen to you would like to know about that. How much can earn a hockey player in
In
Switzerland?
Switzerland. Well, in
Mm.
Switzerland, this doesn't come from me because I know what I make, and in Switzerland we don't really talk openly about. If you're in the NHL in North America, your contract will be all in the newspaper because it's set. In Switzerland, it's not. But what I've read from very reliable sources, and I can tell that's something that is about right from what I've heard from other players or what I've seen from my contract. So in the highest league in our league that we're playing, it would be between 700 and 100,000.
Seven hundred.
Always depends on how yeah how important, I guess, you how important everybody's important, but how big your skill is, and how much how much a team really wants you. But that would be between
Yeah.
seven eight 800, I was 800 to 10 to 100,000 that Swiss players make.
Okay. And you know that you mentioned that your career is short. So how do you manage this your finance? I mean, how do you manage that?
um,
Do you plan
Yeah,
future, or do you say,
I think this is very hard, especially for athletes that never had an education in this, and it's for me that is a constant learning all the time, especially since you're playing in Geneva, you're playing in Zurich. The taxes are different. Your car insurance might be different. Your insurance is different. This and that. So you learn kind of those things on the go. But I think there's definitely a big hole in sports, especially in the Swiss sports, where I've never gotten the education how to manage money, how how to make wealth, or whatever those things are. So you definitely need a lot of help in that, and you need to be able to trust the right people. But then there's another thing. Okay, who can you trust? Because if you don't understand something, how do you know you
Mhm,
have the right person for it? So
mhm.
that's something that is definitely interesting to explore. And yeah, it's something that in the moment, I think if you don't have the parents that could, a lot of players have parents that they do a lot for them in that way, or educate them. So if you're a parent of an athlete, teach them those things
Mhm.
about finance and everything, because it can be very overwhelming when all of a sudden you are 20 years old, you have no idea about finance, and you're making money. What do you do with it? Where do you put it away? How do you think long term?
Yeah, and to understand, and I see Daniel, he's still following, but to understand that you earn a lot of money for a while, and then you go to the corporate world where you won't have the same salary. I mean, are you ready in a 5 years time to consider something like that?
Excuse me, can you answer the question? Ask the question again? Yeah.
You were reading the comment of Daniel. And I was saying, you earn a lot of money for a while, and then you have to adjust to the corporate world, right? Because it's not the same money. So are you ready for this kind of change, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think that I still have about 5 more years in me of playing ice hockey at the highest level. But I'm somebody that likes to be prepared as well, and I'd like to have any opportunity to see where I can fit, or in which way I want to decide after my career what I want to do. So for me, it's important now to kind of go in different ways to see what really attracts me, or what skill I have to give this to a company, or in any kind of way, something like that. So that's why we have met, and
Yes.
it's nice.
We're working on it, Danielle. He was asking, what can you bring to a company? But I think it's if you focus in your passion and your sports athletes, you concentrate on that, and then now is a good time to prepare the next step. So you still have 4 years. So it's a bit early to answer, I guess, the question about what could you bring to a company. I guess all your soft qualities, your emotional intelligence, and the drive. I can see so many things that I could tell my clients, but I think it's important now to put the base and to think about the next step that are really important.
Exactly. That's what we're doing today.
Exactly. We have a question from Andrea who said, "How do you separate your self-worth as a person from your performance as a hockey player, especially in a trade-driven industry?" That's a very good question as well. Thank you for the question.
Again, can you repeat this question again? Because I gotta stop getting distracted by those questions always.
Yeah, he said, "How do you separate your self-worth as a person from a hockey player performance, especially in a trade-driven industry?"
So how do I separate myself being a
Yes,
hockey player
exactly.
and uh,
You.
being me? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Um, yes. So for me, I'm always myself. And then when it comes to ice hockey, I prepare myself 2 hours before the game. That's when my mindset starts to shift. It's like when my routine start, which is a part of me, which is still a part of me, and but it's like going to this. This is your test all of a sudden. Now it's your test. So you need to get connected with yourself, and these are routines that you do to to become um, to become kind of a machine, I would say. I always have my mask on, so people can't really see my face, and it's like really you can see it in my eyes when I play, when I'm connected. It's like nothing else matters than stopping the puck and
Again.
winning the
Yeah.
game. Nothing in that moment. Everything else, you forget about yourself. You everything becomes fluent, and it's like you're on a drug. You have so much adrenaline, and you feel in control. And when you feel in control and you have so much adrenaline, you become something else. Everything becomes effortless.
Mhm.
When I play my best thing, everything becomes effortless. I don't have to think about anything, and I'm barely using any energy. Like a lot of guys are different, but when I'm really where I have to be, everything is easy. I'm ahead of everything. You see everything happening before it's happening, and that's really your mind, your unconscious mind, where you just let it take over, and
So that the mindset,
you let
huh?
you let the mind take over your body, and you're just going. You're sailing.
I don't know if you want to describe more into details because I have another question here. Or can you details a bit more your pre-match
Of
routine?
course. So I can tell you guys how the day looks like. So on a
Very good.
usual day, the game is at around 8 o'clock. So starts my mornings are always the same. So I always have the same morning routine. I mean, I get up, I get up with my son in the morning, or my wife gets up with him. Maybe I can sleep an hour longer or something. But I get up, I watch my nutrition, which changes all the time. Always depends where I am in the season. Um, then you have breakfast, or you don't have breakfast, or you're fasting. Always depends how your gut and your body feeling. So it's kind of checking in with yourself. Then you go to practice. We have a little easy warm up skate, we call it, which is like maybe 20 minutes. You do a little bike, you get your body going, and then your body already starts understanding, okay, like this is a game day routine. It's probably, you probably have to perform tonight. Then you go home. I always have the same. I always usually have the same meal. Which
Oh, okay.
What's that?
Why?
Because it's sending signals to my brain. It's sending
Okay.
signals to my brain. Like I only have that on a game day because it
Okay.
sends it sends signals, right? So for me, it's my famous chicken and rice.
Okay.
It's but as well, once I feel like I'm getting bored of it, or it doesn't give me the same sensation when I'm eating it, how I really enjoy it, then I change it.
You change.
You need
Yeah.
to change it
Okay.
because you need to have those happy feelings, and you need to have that. and then I eat, and then I sleep. Uh, it always varies. I always check in with my body, see, okay, are you really tired? How much do you need to sleep? Or maybe sometimes you don't sleep at all, but you're laying down. You're in bed. You're either watching a little movie or a series that you're watching, and then at 4 o'clock, I get out of bed. I have a snack, and yeah, Natalie's not here, but I'm gonna finish it. Maybe this will work. I have a snack, and then I go to the rink around 5 o'clock, and then I get to the game, and I do my 2 hours before I start focusing on the game,
Can you hear me?
and
Can you hear me?
I kept going with the story. So if it was still
Is
good,
it working?
it's working. I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. All good.
It freeze on the other side. I was on the chicken, but I guess you
Yeah,
gave.
no, it's okay. Well, I kept going. I wasn't sure if the audience
Okay.
could still hear me, but
So I wanted to ask some extra spicy questions. Is there things that people could say, or the opponent could say that would would shake you on a wrong side?
it always depends what kind of if I don't think. I mean, when I was younger, obviously there was probably some things that I had issues with, or but I'm someone that kind of disconnects from all the emotional things from other people and try to focus on myself. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so there's you have players that trash talk that need it, and but for me, thank God, I'm usually protected. As a goalie, if somebody starts talking to me or something, there's usually a defenseman that comes and protects me. So that does feel nice, because you feel kind of you feel okay. People have my back, and it's important. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but no, I don't think there's anything that I would take personally during that time. And I mean, in general, I don't think many people can tell me things that get me mad. So I'm not a person that gets furious or gets really high on emotions, and I usually try to control those.
Mm-hmm. Which is
Yeah.
good. Which is good. And is there a game or team that you find the most challenging to play against?
Hmm. I mean, Beal was very challenging that we played in the final, because the style of game that they have, um, they don't, you know, they wait for their opportunities until they really have a perfect scoring chance to score. So it's I would say Beal, and it's a really really hard team to play against. But for me, it was the hardest team for me to play against was Geneva when I wasn't in Geneva, because it's very very hard to play at Laverne as a team that is not from Geneva.
Okay, cool. I'm just looking at if we had some questions. I don't know about that, but I think we've covered most of the question. So I guess thank you so much for all this information. It's super interesting. Now you're on holiday, right?
Well, from tomorrow on,
From
I have
tomorrow.
one more day. I have one more day, and then I'm on holidays. No, but thank you for having me, and I hope I could, give some insights to people that are valuable. And
And I guess what we learned from you in terms of how we can transfer some skills into the corporate world is obviously your emotional intelligence and the way how you prepare yourself for the match. I think what strikes me is before, during, and after the match. I think this is something that we can all learn from. Resilience, it's quite important, I think, and we've seen that in your career because you've done some amazing things. You came back to the top of your game, and team spirit as well. I think you've demonstrated a very high level of leadership and how to empower. I think that's very important. I'm sure you agree on every member of the team, even if they're not playing during a game. That's very important.
Mhm.
What else can we say? I mean, Yeah, focus, resilient, team spirits, leadership, and be prepared. I think that's quite important.
Yeah, that's very important because that gives you confidence. If you're prepared, it gives you confidence to to do the things that you're doing. If you're prepared, you don't have to think because you're ready for what is coming. And if there's things that happen that you didn't expect, you can always adjust. So adjusting is as well very important in those moments.
And I think what you mentioned really that touched me is the way that sometimes you have to put your ego aside.
Hmm.
There's a fame, there is this energy, there is motivation, and try humility is as well important in these moments because that's where you can make it happen, right?
Yeah, I think it's an important thing to understand your ego. Once you understand your ego, you know when it's coming up, or when it's coming up, it's just understanding it, and then you can actually work on it once you understand your ego. So that is, definitely, I think sports in general will teach you so much about emotional intelligence. That's why if you have kids as well, put them in sports so they can learn teamwork, and they can learn to deal with a lot of different things.
So what can we wish you? Obviously health, but what else, Robert? Can we wish you for the next season and next year?
Oh, um, yeah. I mean, definitely health is a big part of it. Um, I think now it's the time for us to you know we're not hunting anymore. We're being hunted. So we need a lot of resilience. We need, especially everybody needs a lot of resilience this year, and we need to get back on the emotional state that we were, and set new goals. Um, this is definitely something we're gonna need, and I'm gonna need this year. So that's what we're working on now.
And I think you have some awards waiting for you, right? Can we talk about that or not yet?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't even checked yet. I got an email, but I don't know if it's out yet.
Okay.
But that's funny. No, yeah, I've got nominated for two things during the Swiss Ice Hockey Awards. Um, I'll let you guys figure it out after.
Yes, yes. So guys, if you're still here listening to us, feel free to follow Robert, who is a great hockey player, great person. He was amazing to be able to spend. We spent 1 hour. Can you believe 1 hour, 10 minutes,
Oh
Robert,
wow!
together?
Yeah,
And
that's quick when you're having a good conversation.
but you had so much to share, and we can learn from you. So that was absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see the next season. When is it starting?
Starting in August for us. Yeah, September, I think. September, the season starts completely. But I think we're already starting in August with the Champions Hockey League. So that's going to be very interesting for us because we won the league, and the three best teams play in the Champions League against the best teams in Europe. So that is definitely a little something that we're looking forward to, and we want to show everybody that we are the best European team.
Keep on the spirit, huh?
Yeah,
Keep,
of
yeah.
course, of course.
So thank you so much, Robert, for your time, your generosity. I can't wait to celebrate with you again when you're back from your holiday. I say hi to all your team members if they listen to this video as well. And next event on Fabulive is next week with the CFO, so different profile, but a lot of to share as well. So thanks, Rob, and I see you all very soon. Thank you for following and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for
Bye
having me. Bye
bye.
bye.